Finally, it's race week again, and Formula One finally roars back to life in Miami. Every team on the grid is rolling out development packages originally built for the Bahrain and Saudi Grand Prix, and many have used the long break to push the work even further. We are working through the 8 teams, bringing genuine upgrades to Miami, starting with the smallest packages and building up to the most aggressive of them all, so stay with me. And welcome back to Racecraft. Mercedes had every reason to leave a winning car alone, and Toto Wolff almost did. Almost. The W17 turns up in Miami carrying the smallest formal upgrade package of any front-running team. Brackley has limited the submitted changes to minor floor refinements around the diffuser inlet, a revised front suspension element built for consistency under the new tire pressure protocols, and 2 Miami-specific aerodynamic tweaks for the long open throttle sections of the circuit. Wolff has framed the weekend as a test of resilience rather than reinvention. Speaking ahead of the race, he put it this way: "Miami is going to be, for me, also a restart. How are the upgrades going to work that people are bringing? How have we optimized all the other systems? It is going to be exciting." The bigger threat to Mercedes is invisible, because the FIA has cut the qualifying recharge limit from 8 megajoules down to 7, a change that targets the exact harvesting strategies the W17 had mastered better than any other car on the grid. Alpine has been one of the genuine surprises of 2026. Enstone aggressively scrapped development of the 2025 car to throw everything at the A526, runs Mercedes power for the first time, and now sits ahead of Red Bull in the standings on 16 points. The Miami package is conservative in scope but precise in intent, featuring a revised front wing end plate and flap geometry, floor refinements directly ahead of the rear tires, and updated bodywork around the engine cover for cooling and outwash, retaining its full double pull rod suspension layout. One of only 2 cars on the grid configured this way, Alpine is reportedly happy with how that geometry is interacting with the new regulations. The real challenge in Miami is not chasing performance, it is defending a position that nobody at Enstone expected to hold this early in the year. With Haas, Audi, and Racing Bulls all pushing forward with their own packages, every tenth from a relatively modest update will matter for keeping that midfield slot. Expect a quiet but disciplined weekend from the French team. Racing Bulls has handled the cancelled rounds with admirable pragmatism. Team principal Alain Permain confirmed the team had a substantial upgrade planned for Bahrain and a second one planned for Canada, and rather than try to merge them, the Bahrain specification debuts in Miami, with the Canada specification arriving on schedule 3 weeks later. Aerodynamic refinements to the floor and bodywork edge geometry headline the Miami package. The April break has allowed the team to manufacture 3 or 4 sets of the new components instead of the 2 or 3 they would have had ready for Bahrain, which matters because Miami is a sprint weekend. Both Liam Lawson and rookie Arvid Lindblad will run the upgrade from FP1. Permain was direct about expectations, telling reporters, "We had a pretty decent upgrade planned for Bahrain, which we will see in Miami. We had another upgrade planned for Montreal, so we will have a quick double hit there." He added that he is, quote, "very confident that we can keep up, if not do better than the other midfield teams." With Haas just 4 points ahead in the constructors' standings, Miami is exactly where Racing Bulls needs to start collecting. Sitting 4th in the constructors on 18 points, Haas has been one of the standout small teams of the season. Head of car engineering Hoagie Nid has confirmed that the team is reversing its 2025 strategy of pushing development late and is now front-loading its budget on Miami and the immediately following races. A new front wing already arrived in Suzuka, and the April break gave the team time to study that wing in greater depth and prepare a complementary package for Florida. Miami brings additional gearbox stiffness validation, new floor surfaces optimized for the post-rule tweak deployment profile, and revised brake duct geometry. Nid was open about the strategy, telling Racer, quote, "We are actually going through the process at the moment, looking at our next upgrade and how we introduce it. While we are in a position where the performance of the car is quite immature, shall we say, and there is a lot of low-hanging fruit, our decision has been to front-load as much as we can," end quote. The risk is that Miami is a sprint weekend of only 90 minutes of FP1, which Nid admits doubles the chances of components not being ready in time under parc fermé conditions. If Haas executes, 4th in the standings is genuinely defensible. Williams arrives in Miami with one of the most consequential upgrades on the grid, and almost nobody is talking about it, because the package is not about adding performance, it is about shedding weight. The FW48 is reportedly 15 to 20 kilograms over the 768 kilogram minimum, a penalty the Blick technical group estimates at over half a second per lap. Despite running the championship-leading Mercedes power unit, Williams sits ahead of only Audi and Aston Martin in the constructors' table. Weight reduction is the priority. New floor, bodywork, and side panel components have been redesigned to remove mass without sacrificing structural integrity, and the front wing has been tweaked to improve front-end stability in medium-speed corners. Internal targets reported by Marca suggest the broader Miami into Monza program could recover up to a full second per lap by the Italian Grand Prix. Alex Albon has been refreshingly honest about expectations, telling the Fast and the Curious podcast, "It will be tough. There is so much baggage on the car. We have an upgrade package in Miami. It will be better, but it will not be the biggest thing since sliced bread." For Carlos Sainz, who has publicly called for the team to bring something serious, Miami is the start of a long climb back to where Williams expects to be. Red Bull's start to 2026 has been a disaster by any reasonable historical standard. 16 points, a Verstappen Q2 exit in Suzuka, and an RB22 chassis that team principal Laurent Mekies has admitted is unstable and roughly 9 to 10 kilograms over the minimum weight. Mekies has framed Miami as nothing less than a second-season launch. The headline component is Red Bull's own version of the rotating Macarena rear wing. Unlike Ferrari's pivoting element approach, Red Bull retains its central vertical actuator but uses modified flap to end plate attachment points that allow a rotation between 110 and 160 degrees. Early simulation estimates point to a 5 to 10 km per hour straight-line gain. Beyond the wing, Milton Keynes is bringing substantially revised side pods with a more aggressive ramp angle, a modified front wing with revised dive planes, new halo-mounted winglets for cleaner cockpit airflow, a revised floor concept, and significant weight-shedding work on internal structures. Mekies has been careful to manage expectations, telling the Beyond the Grid podcast, "I think it will be a bit like a second-season launch when we are back at the track in Miami." Does it mean you come to Miami and you have solved everything as a miracle? No. What we would like to see is to have a car where our drivers can push again. We are in full attack mode. If you walk in Milton Keynes right now, there is fire in every single department. McLaren has been planning this weekend for months. Andrea Stella confirmed that the original strategy was always to deliver sort of a completely new car, especially from an aerodynamic upgrades point of view for the North American races. The canceled rounds in the Middle East simply allowed Woking to refine the package rather than redesign it. Miami is the first half of a two-stage rollout that completes in Canada. Confirmed elements include new front and rear brake ducts, revised bodywork covering side pod surfaces, the engine cover and the louver range, a brand new floor, and a revised rear wing. The Canadian half of the package is expected to bring a new front wing and revised front suspension geometry. McLaren is also actively developing its own version of the Macarena rotating wing concept, although that is unlikely to debut in Miami. Stella has framed the ambition unambiguously, saying that, across Miami and Canada, we will see an entirely new MCL40. Sky Sports has reported that McLaren is already very pleased with the numbers the package has produced in the simulator. The bigger challenge is integration, because Stella has admitted that running a customer Mercedes power unit gives the works team a structural advantage, although McLaren made what he called a significant step in this area during the April break. If those simulation numbers translate to the track, McLaren could leapfrog Ferrari into second. Ferrari is the team with the most aggressively framed upgrade on the entire grid. Fred Vasseur has called it a package and a half, fusing the originally scheduled Bahrain bring-out with components pulled forward from later in the season. Members of the Maranello technical group, led by Loic Serra, have briefed La Gazzetta dello Sport that the upgrades could change the script of the season. Validation came at the 22 April Monza filming day with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. The headline component is a refined version of the rotating Macarena rear wing, with hydraulic actuation and the central support redesigned to address the reliability problems that forced Ferrari to shelve the wing after Shanghai. Beyond that, the package adds a revised front wing with updated main plane geometry and reshaped end plates, a new floor edge concept, revised side pod inlets and internal ducting, a separate new rear wing assembly targeting straight-line efficiency, and a heavily revised power unit software package focused on energy management. Vasseur was unusually direct in his Sky Sports Italy interview at Suzuka, saying everyone will bring new upgrades to Miami. They will have time to work on the software, which is why I said a new championship will start. There is also a regulatory wildcard, because Ferrari is one of the manufacturers most likely to qualify for ADUO power unit relief after the FIA's first assessment, which takes place after the Miami round. If the SF26 is judged to be more than 2% below the benchmark, Ferrari unlocks an additional in-season engine upgrade for 2026 and another for 2027. Combined with the largest aerodynamic package on the grid, that would make Miami the start of a genuine title challenge. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you do not miss our race day analysis. Tell me in the comments which upgrade you think will deliver the biggest jump on track, and I will see you on the next one.